I'm sure you heard some of that uplifting music there, helping to introduce our people tonight for our session number 87, or as it is, season 5, episode 7, so it doesn't feel as overwhelming, but it is also fun too.
I didn't hear anything, but carry on.
That's okay.
We don't get the music going.
Sometimes it comes through depending on how loud I make it. And making sure that my audio is all working is always a good thing to check, and the videos haven't gone and frozen on. So, we'll start off with the people online who can introduce them, describe their character, and a bit of how they appear to others, so our new player can know. So we'll start off with Jeremy.
Okay, I'm playing Dimitros, a humble, started as a humble peasant boy in the downtrodden regions of Caldara, having been put down by the Phaeacians over the years, and the upstart Duke Karameikos trying to take over. He's now matured somewhat, and obviously still very humble, forgiving, generous person, always willing to provide advice and information from the wealth of knowledge that he's built up over the years.
Well, I ignore that because he's human.
And he has actually become a noble of the court of Karameikos, so those hated Phaeacians he's now joined.
Right,
okay. Technically he became a part of the Phaeacian army quite early in his career, but it's also part of that process of, hey, easier to take him down from the inside.
And there's rumours that your nation is going to split off from Phaeacians soon.
But yes, as far as appearance, he's fairly tall for a human at 5'2", but generally wears relatively plain robes. But he's got like a pale blonde skin, and now he's got short, fiery red hair. So it's a bit. It doesn't necessarily quite go with his dark brown eyes that he used to have, or that he still has, unlike the dark brown hair he used to have. So.
But hey, he's definitely made an impression.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also been declared emperor of a society at least once.
Right, okay. What's he still doing here then?
He didn't want to stay where they were.
Fair enough.
It was, you're an emperor and you stay here. It's like, I don't want to stay here.
Yeah, I will go wander and explore and tell everyone that I'm very clever.
Well, there is that.
And being the humble guy that he is, he just couldn't accept such
I couldn't accept such an honour.
But he does have a bust of him as emperor in his home.
There you go. You gotta keep yourself humble that way.
Next online we have Mark.
I'm playing Bradshaw Dugan, a male dwarf from Rockholm. I got the right Dawson City this time, not Pathfinder one. So I'm basically you probably see me as, brown eyes, black hair kind of thing, very, tan kind of dwarf, but fully in mithril chainmail, shield, and this warhammer that might have some sort of gnome writing all over it, but we don't discuss that too much. We don't know where that came from. But I'm basically a fighter weapon, so I'm kind of just the front line for the party, so Dimitri can look good at the back and just throw spells at people, or daggers or arrows or whatever, so I'm pretty much the meat shield kind of thing.
He also has a Karameikos symbology on him from the Gnomish settlement of Highforge.
Alright.
Yes. So he's a lord of a Gnomish settlement.
I am, yes.
So it's a dwarf that can talk about gnomes. Gnomes exist.
He keep trying to say they don't, but they do at the same time, because his wife says they exist.
Alright, okay. So you have to go just go.
Yes, they do exist. Unfortunately, I don't.
He's a bit henpecked.
I do look around when I say this. I look around, make sure there's no my wife's assassins friends anywhere nearby when we say it.
And she's also said that he can't lose the hammer if he does come home.
Alright.
Yeah.
So the hammer is very important. Right, got
it is. Yeah, well, considering my first hammer I threw it at an orc and it didn't return and I lost it. I kind of don't throw it as much anymore. But it's, but no, I'm pretty much It's pretty just a buffy little dwarf kind of thing that sits with a shield and some little chainmail and just looks really stocky and can take a bit of beating, but also can give a bit of beating too.
There was rumours that his mount was known for leaving an impression.
Alright.
So much of an impression that people would choke around it.
Oh.
Yeah, my previous mounts, which happened to be my brother, used to fart stinking cloud kind of spell types kind of thing. When it farted. Yeah, because it decided to eat and ramshackle our alchemist's lab one time and didn't know what it drank and didn't drink, and yeah, it had a reputation of when it farted you didn't want nowhere near it kind of thing. But that's all changed now. I've got a new mount, which is a nice goat that seems to think it's a dragon, but I'm not sure about it yet. So,
it's called goat.
I just want to confirm.
A goat,
does his wife marry him, or does his wife marry the hammer? He just happened to be attached to it.
He's not exactly sure why she married him.
Okay.
He thinks it's through stashing good looks.
I think it's stashing good looks.
Alright.
I've got a -1 in charisma, so I just think it's stashing good looks. So,
yep, got to be.
Yeah.
It had absolutely nothing to do with the ability for her client to get retribution at all.
Yep.
Nothing at all now. I think she's quite honest. She would never do that to me at all. No, I hope not.
This just sounds like slavery with extra steps.
Well, hey, you did manage to get promotions and stuff since you married her, and the rest of your clan see you favourably every time you see them. They bring out their best stoneware for you.
Well, they do. I seem to be much more respected these days. Yeah.
So, marrying a halfling was the best thing you ever did? As far as your family tells you.
A red-headed halfling, thank you. Red-headed halfling.
The redhead is very important.
And don't worry, her brother's just a chef.
When you say don't worry, it makes me do the opposite of that.
So, everything Martin says you take the opposite of.
Have you ever
and then
seen the movie
yeah.
Under Siege? There's a martial artist who was a Green Beret or Marine who was just the chef.
Okay.
So that was his thing, he's just the chef.
Just the chef, got it.
Well, he also cooks.
Yes.
Okay.
So her brother is retired.
The retired chef.
Yes.
And he's just a chef.
Yes. That's what he tells everyone.
Yep, got it.
While he's beating them up.
Alright.
Or breaking bones.
Alright. Okay. Well, my character's quite trusting, so if you tell him he's just a chef, he's just a chef.
Okay, so that brings us to Martin's character.
So I play an elf, Kenzai. So a subclass of monk. So I have a long sword and a longbow, and I also have Rheddrian staff, Benakanda, and that's probably enough, I reckon.
And how does he appear when you look at him?
Well, he's about 5'10", and
so a bit short for an elf.
Yeah, I think towards the high side.
Hey, all for a halfling.
Hey, for an elf, he's probably about 1 to 2 feet shorter than most elves.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Most of them sit between 7 and 8 feet.
Alright. Jesus.
You're welcome to actually be taller, or keep you're short for an elf as your moniker.
No, I'm short for an elf. That's
okay.
fine.
There you go.
I'll go tall for a halfling.
Tall for a half.
He is. And he's also a lord of the Elven Forest.
Yes.
Having established a training place where people have written down absolutely everything he said into a book as words from the master.
Alright.
Even if he said take out the trash, they've written that down as important words of inspiration.
Alright. That's quite disconcerting, actually. Someone wrote down everything I've ever said.
So he does have people trying to follow me around and writing down his every word because they are disciples of the master.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what? Verse 713 of chapter 3, I don't want to get out of bed.
Well, I don't talk much, so it's not a great inconvenience.
Blessing.
So everything he says is of so great importance and monumental stuff that when he does say stuff, they are visually writing it down so they miss nothing.
Is there a side party?
Besides the Dragonborn, there will probably be retainers following.
Okay. Alright, so it's a big group.
You are of a level where you were lower nobility.
Oh, nice.
So
So I think I've got 3 retainers, so they can keep shifts
They do.
so that they can catch every word that I speak.
and when you talk in your sleep, they write that down too.
So can they just keep watch for other people?
They could, but they're always watching him.
Okay, so like...
So if
Yeah,
someone was
okay.
to sneak up and kill you when they're on watch, as long as they're not attacking him, they won't notice.
Alright, so he basically has 3 glorified bodyguards.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Who honor his every step.
I feel like we're just all side characters for this.
And they do have
Dimitri's our side character.
an NPC called Drizzle, who appearance changes almost daily because he sort of changes depending on which aspect of Drizzle is currently with you at the time.
Fair enough.
Because he's sort of stuck in a bit of a time knot.
Right. So, Martin, what's your character's name?
Tyrellian.
So is the group
Silverleaf.
is the group basically Tyrellian and friends?
I don't know, but
That's
it
what-
would be
that's what
great if
describes
we
it.
weren't Dimitri and friends.
Obviously with Dimitri and... Well, Dimitri and friends, definitely not. Dimitri and... others?
There's something there.
Because it's not like Dimitri's friends with anyone.
Except Dimitri.
Well, he does seem to be friends with people he talks to remotely via magical devices.
Okay.
So he does talk to inanimate objects a lot.
Alright, I'll put down as insane. I should be making notes of this. I haven't written down anything.
Well, that's the advantage of if it records properly, you can watch it again.
Hooray, I can watch myself.
No one really loves watching themselves, but it does help when you're trying to make notes and keep track of stuff.
Exactly.
Calvin, would you like to
Good base.
give a base of your character?
Alright, well, my basic character is Thaglar Stronghand. He is a Goliath. When he grew up in a Goliath clan, nomadic, wandering the wilds, and then eventually he broke the ranks of survival of the fittest, helped someone that he should not have helped. And he basically got cast out, was taken in by some humans, farm hands, who helped him basically back on his feet, taught him the better half of the world, so he branched out into being a nicer Goliath. Since then, he has left that life with good friendship with the farmers, and has, according to Martin, it's a good idea to. Since then, I've started my own clan, and now have somehow joined this group, which I will hope will be explained.
That will be explained quite easily. I'm just currently putting together a hopefully something that will give you a close enough representation.
Yes, so he's 7.5 feet tall, wields a longsword and shield, unless someone gives me something cooler. He is bald on the top of his head, but he has got a beard, which he tries to keep neat, but he forgets about it every once in a while. He is nice, pretty nice to animals. He's not much of a talker, but when he does, he tries to make himself look intelligent, because he doesn't like this. Oh, look, that's a picture of Kratos that you pulled up.
Yeah.
Not Kratos, like he's too nice to be Kratos. Yeah. Any other things I should talk about?
Okay, so what sort of thing does he like doing?
Like during the day,
What's his favourite sort of thing to do?
I would say likes walking. I think looking after his equipment is pretty high on his list.
Petting his kitten.
Generally just trying not to ruin every single thing that he touches, because he knows he's quite strong, and he knows that things around him can be quite breakable. So he walks on. He essentially treats everyone like they're made of eggshells.
Okay.
Unless they're his enemies, in which case he will crush them. Like, he didn't have a strong hand by not doing anything.
Okay. That gives a very quick, simple character draw.
Like, I will come up with more things eventually. But I hope that gave a base summary.
So, the group have been working on and off for someone known as Rheddrian, who is a merchant who has been employing them to investigate why the world's gone crazy.
Yes, you do.
Because you've got the temple for the goddess of peace declaring war on the surrounding nations.
Wait, so the Temple of the Peace is declared war?
Yeah, the goddess of peace has declared war.
Like we said, the world's gone
So
crazy.
the nation of Alphatia, their patron, the goddess Alphatia, is the goddess of peace and prosperity. She has declared war.
Ooh. Yeah, that's not good.
Her general, her greatest general, was crying for peace and was assassinated.
Right. Okay. Yep. Shit show. Got it.
So some of the party members were involved in that.
Sorry, what?
Nothing to do with us.
There are 3 groups doing this storyline. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Alright.
So it's very easy for you to hear about things happening in the background that some of the other people have been getting up to.
Okay, so
That's a whole different group that were involved in the assassination.
Okay,
so don't
so
worry
they
about
didn't
it.
do that.
They didn't do that. No.
Okay, got it.
But one of Rheddrian's groups did.
Right, got it.
The Alphatian had built up an armada of skyships to come and blast the region that you're from. If you know the term blast the planet.
Basically, raise.
Raise everything to the point nothing can grow on it.
Yeah.
And
Salt
there's
the earth.
Yes. And they're going
Carthage.
to come and do that with their sky fleet.
To everyone, or just...
Everyone.
Okay, lovely.
Anyone who even knows the name of the country Galantry,
Right.
which is one of the major countries of the region.
Okay, got it. Oof.
So it's a genocide of anyone who knows this country exists.
And this is the goddess of peace.
Yes, as it has declared this.
Lovely.
Recently they found out that she's done this because the belief is that if Lanterns keep going the way they're going, magic will be drained out of the world, and all magical people and creatures will die.
Okay, preemptive strike, got it.
And so they've targeted the nation Galantry, which was founded by the Fire Genasi, and Alphatia was founded by the Air Genasi. Where they both came from, there was a schism between the two of them, where the air and fire were trying to declare who was most powerful out of the 2 groups, and with that became a war that ripped their plane of existence apart.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So not just the planet, they destroyed their plane of existence.
Playing everything.
Yes. Yes, it was a parallel plane to this world.
Okay. And now they're coming here.
And so the Air Genasi Empire is coming for the kingdom of the Fire people.
Okay. So they're bringing their problems here.
Yes. And so standing between them, the Phaeton Empire, which is more military, physical than they are magical. They are numerous, have colonized many places, have said, "You shall not come," and basically declared war. To the north, a group of holier-than-thou knights, known as the Haldanic Knights, have also declared war on the Alphatian country, saying, "You shall not come." Because both of them are at risk of being annihilated just because they know Galantry exists.
Yeah.
Knowledge of the existence of it is what leads to it. The current party members have been told that it's due to the great god of fire telling one of the other fire gods to stop what he's doing, and that god going no.
I would need a spreadsheet.
And learning that by tradition, all the gods follow what a higher god says because all the gods were sponsored. The one he said no to was never sponsored. Never followed the traditions. Didn't believe in them. And so the Tyrannosaurus Rex god stepped between them and said, "You shall not annihilate them." And because he did that, the Great Fire God said, "There shall be war on earth." The gods have not come together in one unit since that day.
How long ago was that?
That was 10 years ago.
Okay. And now war has come.
A war has been building up for 10 years, and it only got declared a few months ago.
Okay. Yeah.
But they've
It hasn't actually, technically, the great armies and navies haven't started battling yet, but part of that is because we did actually manage to eliminate a vast majority of the armada of Alphatia.
Yes,
So we managed to delay the actual fighting.
this group burned down the skyships of the world in one go.
Okay.
But it was a mile-wide firestorm
Yeah, that's gonna leave it.
over the capital of the Alphaitian people.
So they hate us now.
Pretty much.
I hope we're not in Alpha.
You are not. You are quite a bit away from it. They actually have a map to
Oh, sweet, there's a map.
So when I say Alphatia, I mean there's this section here, this here, big chunk of this area here. So all this here represents Alphatia.
Right.
Thyatis represents half of this, a lot of stuff down here, and a little bit down here. But the party is roughly below my finger.
We're in
So
North
this
America.
tiny little section there. That represents what's called the known world of the setting.
Right. Also, the known world is North
this
America.
small little bit, not all of the place.
Okay.
And
Is that like?
so this is a blow up of that spot.
Ah, okay.
So this is a tiny bit shows of the huge section of what is Thyatis,
Yeah.
the Titan Empire. The characters are currently based out of a place called Durrican here. The place Glantry is up here is the one that they're having war declared against it. The Hellenic territories are up here, the Mongols are here, the Dwarves are all here, Owls are based here, the Norse are all here, the Arabians are in a desert of a cursed land here, and most of the characters are knights here, have got titles here.
Okay. So we're not in the country with all the airships. We're
And that's all the way over this side.
Okay.
There's an entire continent between them.
Between the place where we are now,
And
place
where-
where all the airships got
And the Alphaitian landmass is bigger than this whole region. Just their island is bigger than that region.
Alright. Big gun.
It is. And it's a lot of people there. They have their council of wizards is 1,000 wizards on the edge of immortality.
Okay.
They've chosen not to. So it is a scary thing to think that there's at least 1,000 people of epic level able to bring down death and destruction if they could agree.
And they all hate you.
Currently they're busy repairing the damage.
So they're too busy to kill you because they're busy repairing the damage that you did to them.
Yes. And last session they had gone to the Northern Reaches area of the North to find out what was happening there because a bunch of cultists had been doing stuff and they wanted to find out why. So Jeremy's character Dimitri had discovered that the cultists had abandoned the Alphaitian Empire led by a shadow dragon known as the Dark Lady. Because she pulled them out of the nation so they couldn't be used as shock troops in the upcoming war.
Okay.
And now the Alphaitians are too scared to go near the Northern Reaches, the Norse people, because that's where their shock troops moved to. Could you imagine sending your regular army versus your special forces?
No. Wait, so they sent the shock troops there?
No, the Shadow Dragon took the shock troops out of the picture.
They
So,
forced effect.
wait, so they sent their shock troops somewhere, and
Then they didn't know that they were undermined by a Shadow Dragon who took their best attacking troops out before they could be mobilized for war and took them away.
and so yeah, fair enough.
She basically stole them.
She nicked them, yeah.
And
It's part of why she stole them was by convincing them that they'll face you going down the wrong pathway of trying to annihilate the known world.
Yeah, so would you send your army against someone who's basically just stolen your list troops?
yes.
No, that's a good idea.
And so the dragons themselves are scary in their own right. So dragons have their own nation. No one knows where it is.
So I saw one.
It's from what party members have learned, everything is inside the dragon's mind.
Simba.
The dragons basically have their own nation on top of every other nation.
Okay.
So it's known as the Hidden Kingdom of Dragons.
Everything the light touches is out.
And the dragons used to keep the giants in mind.
Alright, how big are giants?
Giants are the Giant King, from Goliaths to Storm Giants,
Oh, okay. We had
and
king.
Trolls.
That's nice.
And before humanity walked, the Giants and the Dragons warred until the Dragons won and forced the Giants to no longer gather in more than, say, 100 or 200 people.
So that's why giants are nomadic.
Yes.
Okay.
They had their ability to gather broken. And then about 5 years ago, the dragons disappeared from the world. And the storm giants who were maintaining the rule of the dragons on the giants disappeared.
So
So the giants decided to gather again.
because you've just taken the principal and teachers away from the giant school.
And so party members have learned of the fact that every type of giant is gathering in mass. And they are a threat to the rest of the world right now.
Hey,
Every race is a threat to the rest of the world right now.
that's fair enough.
The elves are packing up and moving.
Oh, okay.
They have their own nation, and they're killing their nation to move.
Okay.
Seeing if someone was trying to get me for something. No. Just someone probably wanted to join another game.
Once I tell people I have slots open, I have about 6 to 7 people say, yay!
Yeah.
And then about 1 or 2 of those show up.
That's why I'm here.
So yes, that gives you an idea of why they had just gone to the Northern Reaches. And you've been sent there taking the dwarf, the elf, who had stayed behind doing other stuff to find out where Dimitri had gotten to. Just as Dimitri is leaving a huge mansion.
Sounds suspicious.
But
Are we actually interested in what Dimitri's doing?
yeah, that's a good point then.
Dimitri had been gathering intel for your sponsor, who's been paying you all this time, and has actually put in good words for each of you to give you
Okay.
access to gear, people, and better lifestyle.
There you go.
Well, that means I can listen to Beach is a completely separate pot, obviously.
That's a pretty good justification. That's all right.
Hang on, let me roll a dice so I can determine this, because... Yeah, you're okay right now. Yeah.
And it does help that you have a giant amongst you, considering the trolls of this region are some of the oldest beings in the world. Trolls regenerate, they don't age.
Then they could be killed.
Some can't.
So it's like a big, ugly Wolverine. Got it.
They just get bigger.
Oh, they keep getting bigger. Lovely.
Well, the first trolls are in this region. their descendants don't have their long life.
Okay, yep, got it. So what do we do? So what are we doing in this region?
So
Apart from looking at Dimitri walking out of a mansion and wondering why we should care.
well,
Typical Dimitri walks out of a mansion, doesn't tell us what he's doing, just walks out, just thinks he has a high life, you know. Doesn't think about the lower end people. I'll say out loud by now. This is Bradshaw talking now, so.
So you guys were finally arrived, have you?
Or you relaxing in there, were you, little princess? I'll say out loud. So.
Let's say, the dinner with the Dark Lady was certainly enlightening. It would appear that the devastation orb that we... hang on, that was different party, so we got the devastation orb, wasn't it?
This party did deal with some of the orbs, so you would have been told about the orbs at some point, so you can talk about that.
Dimitri certainly knows about the orb, because hey, that's how we took out the... and Bradshaw knows about the orb, and... because, hey, that's how we got the Operation Armada. And we found out later that's where it come from.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll go along with it.
You know when the time that Bradshaw jumped off in his boat and tried to destroy the whole ship? That time.
That's right, yeah.
All I think about is that Stan Kubrick movie where he jumps off the bomb kind of thing, the cowboy hat kind of thing. So yeah. But
Bradshaw thinks that he destroyed the Armada, but obviously there was...
No, Bradshaw knows he did. He doesn't have to think about it. He doesn't have to, you know. Well, no matter what Dimitri would say, Bradshaw said he did it all himself. So they're humble, you know that. Yeah, the young dwarf is. So
what he's talking about would be about session 73.
Alright,
yeah,
I'm just nodding.
I'm all
Give
back.
you some sort of
Yeah.
idea of how far back it was.
Yeah, just nodding over here.
So I'll
I
go.
may have been a halfling back then. I don't know.
No, you were an elf at that stage. You were a halfling when you went into the Hollow World.
Yeah, what
This
they
is the
yeah.
setting where the Hollow World was first envisioned.
Yes.
So when he says
came out an elf.
Yeah, since you mentioned Dark Lady, you know, what Dark Lady? What do you mean hell
The
hard
Dark
about?
Lady for whom the rumours that we were actually investigating up in this area.
Oh, I left that to you, Dimitri. That was too much information for me and Larman. You should know
I
that.
wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah, that's. See, I do a lot of this. By the way, you did it after all. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
As a player, I've just remembered where you guys actually got to, because, yeah, you decided to go off in a different direction after leaving the House of Drazel, and you finally caught up.
Yes, when they went to see the House of Drazel, they went backwards in time.
As you do.
But yes, so it appears that the rumours of the Dark Lady in this area are definitely true. However, it would appear that she's at least somewhat neutral, or not neutral, not directly opposed to what we might be doing and what Rheddrians trying to achieve at the present time. And is willing to help somewhat, and has explained of 4 cults, of elemental cults that have sprung up in the area, partly because they're the remnants and heads of Alphasian forces that she managed to remove from their headquarters and thus further delay their plans. However, their actions over here are not necessarily conducive to long-term profitability, including the fact that they're the ones that have been creating the devastation orbs that have been floating around the place and that we've had to actually use to destroy a number of nations. As such, it would appear that it's time for those various cults to be removed from their influence and help restore wealth and prosperity to this area. And so, yeah, the closest location is approximately blah 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 distance away, and in this direction. So, you ready? Let's go. Only when Dimitri's saying this, it actually takes about 3 times as long and he's using words with multiple extra syllables.
As Dimitri's doing this over-explanation of things, to the point where even your eyes glaze over, as someone interested in scholarship. You just see Drizzle in the background putting his head in his hands and shaking his head, with the understanding that, having met this Dragonborn before, that Dimitri's gone off on tangent again.
So this is something that happens often.
Yes, he may have missed the point of the cults he's about to go up against.
Bradshaw does zone out a little bit as usual because Dimitri does put him to sleep occasionally. So you mentioned 4 groups we have to go after. Do you need
There's
more
also
detail?
the element that, like, Draggle's thinking that Dimitri's gone off tangent and things like that. There's the aspect of Dimitri knowing his audience and what they need to know.
So there's what the player's told and there's what the character's told.
Yes.
So once I listen to 10 minutes of Dimitri speak, I would go. So
Yeah,
Dimitri,
it's going to be a perfect turn, right? That's good.
yeah.
When you're scoring, I don't think you've been listening.
Okay. So can you simplify this to be maybe 4 groups got to go after? What are each of these groups like? Are they kind of elemental stuff like, earth, fire, wind, water kind of thing, or what are we talking about?
They're each followers of the elements, yes.
Okay, cool. Okay. Now this lady that you're talking about, you don't think she has some ulterior motive to get rid of these people? Like she's not hiding stuff from us?
She definitely has her own motives.
Okay.
In this particular case, her motives align with
How much is?
greater motives.
I would look back to Captain Razzle when he says that, and do I get a reaction from Captain Razzle when he says that? Or?
Well, he does say that he is currently dealing with them.
Okay. So we need to subdue 4 groups, and then things might turn our way, is what you're saying? In short?
But more importantly, things won't turn worse.
Okay.
Drizzle thinks opportunity missed if cults have moved on.
Yeah, very cool. I like Razzle. Razzle straight to the point. It's good. I'm a big fan of Razzle. Okay, so the first one's nearby, so we need to let's sort these things out and give them a bit of how's your father is probably or how's your dwarf kind of thing. So yeah, how's your father wasn't quite out here at this time, so how's your dwarf is put a bit of value for it.
He does tell you, Drizzle does pause for a moment and say that Rheddrian has other group dealing with cults right now.
Okay. So, is there anything else the lady needs us to do, or what? I'm trying to remember back exactly. I did miss last session, so I'm missing a little bit here.
So the lady told various things to Dimitri.
So
As a player, I might have forgotten what he was talking about at the time, but
Basically, she was considered the head of the 4 groups. And if you start attacking the groups, the Dark Lady will come after you directly. And as she's a 4th evolution dragon, she's considered quite powerful in the scheme of things.
oh yeah, in fact, certainly she knows that she's powerful, but as a player, I got the impression that
She's put them in their place, and he's happy where they are. She was very dismissive of them, but she was in charge of them.
Okay.
Considering we're outside of Citadel, we really shouldn't be talking too much about her. I'm thinking out loud, but I'm thinking internally actually.
So it was a month ago, so that would make it a lot harder to remember. She went into detail about.
I will think it's the player rather than because yeah.
So there were each of the cults are a blending of a standard element and darkness.
Alright.
Yeah.
So you've got water and darkness, fire and darkness, earth and darkness, and air and darkness. And by doing so, they have combined the combat potential of each of those elements into their fighting styles.
So created something new.
Yeah. Well, the Alphatian is all about the Alphatian culture is about blending elements. Most of the cultures you're used to are about honouring a single element. So the blending of elements is not a standard thing as far as you know.
It's like a perversion.
More of druidism, the druids, than it is about other things. So the druids are the ones more likely to blend elements, and most people specialize. So the crashing wave monks are known for their water and darkness abilities. The Feathergale Knights are known for their air and animal riding. So they generally have griffins as their main mounts. The Black Earth monks are known for their ability to use the earth itself as a weapon of attack. And the Scarlet Moon druids are known for their intense violation.
Right.
So each of them has a high degree of magic at their disposal, doing stuff with most of you haven't been able to tap into yet, as it's they're creating legendary items, which is a devastation loss. And it was at the direction of Drazzle that those orbs were created. Because you needed them.
So what exactly should we be doing now?
That's the question. Because it's not a you must do this storyline, you can choose whichever way you go, but you'll have NPCs who pipe up and say, you might have this problem if you do this. And they have all been told that if they go to Galantry, with the knowledge that they know of about why the war is occurring, the gods will kill them within 1 hour.
I vote to not go to Galantry.
It doesn't matter if you leave Galantry in that time, you still have that limited lifespan.
Definitely not going to Galantry.
I would love a coffee. Do you drink coffee at all? So with that in mind, Jeremy,
Yeah.
and at the time when you started this, the Friday group had then gone on to and explored all the cults specifically. They had done what you could have done and gathered all the information from the cults themselves.
Okay.
And they have each gotten the cults to sign up as supporters to Rheddrians' cause.
Yeah. Which is what Karameikos said we're going to do. Deal with the cults.
So that's where Drazzle will let Dimitri know that it has been sorted for him.
So, great, Dimitri. What are we doing next if that's been sorted already, according to our dear friend Razzle?
Like I said, the main purpose we come here was to actually investigate the rumours of this Dark Lady who was, I say, we were only getting rumours down in Galantry as to the impact, sorry, not Galantry,
Larrikin.
as to the impact of that this influence was having, and the idea that the Dark Lady is apparently the reason that the trolls are much less disruptive towards the northern the northern
Trolls across the Dragon's territory.
Fair enough.
and allowing trade to occur much more easily. So, so I'm thinking this. So basically, yes, we report back to Rheddrian on the information about the Dark Lady and the obviously. He can then also report back the fact that, well, yes, that connects and makes sense with the cults in the area that have been investigated and looked at. So, or the reason that we actually come northwards in the first place is we'd actually come northwards to try and investigate the Dark Lady, and then go further north to investigate this isolated house of the Northlands that turned out to be Drazel's house. And so now that you finally caught up, having decided to walk down from Drazel's house back down here, we can get back on the boat and start heading back towards Darrington.
So what you're saying, that everything's sorted, we don't need to do anything here. I'll look at Dr. Drazel when I say that, just like as a slight turn of my head.
Drazel seems to be happy with that.
Okay. I'm good. I get an apple out of my unlimited apple satchel, give it to my what I think is my goat. I can't remember if it did like apples or not from last experience.
I like the taste of you more.
I kind of get that opinion. So, for our new characters tonight, I got given this mount by Captain Drazel, and I have a slight feeling that it might be a dragon hidden as just a goat.
Oh no, you don't have a slight feeling. You know there is a drake with an illusion of a goat over the top of it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't change the shape of it. It just keeps coming back to what looks like a goat. So if it elongates its head to look around, the goat's head will elongate strangely and look around.
Yeah.
Does it have the impact of the dragon? Like if I walk around the goat, will I hit it?
You'll kill scales.
So if
But
the goat is a large goat.
Right. Okay.
So it's not like it's a small little goat that the dwarf is riding. That's like a skateboard. It's a large size goat.
Right. Well, as a Goliath, I'm going to avoid this goat.
It's okay.
But it also has,
Dragon does have a Clydesdale in the same sort of way.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of large animals around us, so just give you a warning, but I don't mind. Look, Clam and I get along well, and my ex-goat and Clam's celestial horse liked each other well, but I don't know how my current mount and the horse talk to each other too well or not. I'm not sure if there's I think I've got a feeling the Drake has kind of got it's the kind of master and the other one's more of an apprentice kind of thing, but yeah. But anyway.
But I have a perspective of someone who likes animals. Yeah. You get a strange vibe off these two.
They don't feel natural to you, and you have a little bit of fear of them.
Yes, I'm going to stay well away from them.
Well, if that's the case, then I think we need to look at the next course of action, and if that's to get them back on the ship and heading home. But is there anything else, Captain Drazel, that we need out this area, or is there another area that we need to look into? Because I feel that what's done here has been done, as much as it can be done. I'm a bit sussy about this Dark Lady, I'm not sure, but it sounds like it's better being on our side than on the other side, I think, that's what I'm gathering.
Yeah, I even have a picture of what she looks like.
The good news for Bradshaw is that if Dimitri had told him everything he knew about the Dark Lady, he'd be a lot more sussy.
I'm already sussy
And a lot more
about
scared.
I don't have to roll an insight check. I know exactly that Dimitri's not telling me everything, but I know there's a reason behind it, but I know that Dimitri just doesn't tell me everything anyway. So it's okay.
You know Dimitri's not telling you everything, he goes to his mouth.
That's right. So
Very
So there are no drow in the setting. The shadow elves of the setting are basically technology elves. So just so you guys can see, that is how the person was described.
Yep.
okay, but what?
And the details of it is, imagine what would look like a drow in like Forgotten Realms, but there's absolutely no demonic or spider motifs anywhere in the clothing or person of a female.
Yep,
If anything, they look more Celtic in design.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about now, yeah.
And that's the actual picture from the book.
And of course, the other factor for Bradshaw regarding whether Dimitri tells him everything or not is, let's face it, Dimitri could tell him everything he still wouldn't know anything. He
He
wouldn't have listened to anything Dimitri said.
Oh, well, get over yourself, Dimitri. That's all, you know. Anyway.
So the good news is we know what Dimitri knows. The bad news is Dimitri doesn't know shit.
And he has trouble explaining part of it. But you have discovered that the at least the cults here aren't directly opposing what you're trying to do.
And the origin of the cults here was an advantage to slowing down the war.
And then
Did
being
take a significant force from Alphasia.
and it was enough of a exodus that it stopped the war happening early. Such as the same thing with your such as when you took out the air fleet, you also reduced the ability for them to war.
Yeah.
Well, I say,
We delayed it by forcing them to rebuild.
if there's no cults around here to root out and annihilate, then we should make our way back to that boat. Ricky,
But there are the
seizing
troll
the
scholars, the first trolls.
I'm always up for killing some trolls. Don't make them people.
Well, they are honoured amongst the giants for being the ones who taught them
I'm not
language.
honest to kill some trolls.
They created created the troll language and the giant language and the runic magic that the giants use.
I advise we don't kill the trolls.
Dimitri was certainly not pushing towards troll killing in any way, shape or form. We did actually meet the trolls on our way here first time.
I think we did, yeah, from memory. But,
They threw a barn-sized rock about half a mile towards you,
Did
which
they
they
miss?
had, landed in front, and then it had a puzzle on it that you had to solve.
See, that to me that sounds
Which
like
Dimitri was able to do with
friendly
no problem
interaction.
whatsoever.
Which, if you didn't solve it, was going to annihilate you.
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted
They
to
gave you a
kill you,
chance.
they would have crushed you.
Okay.
What's-
Dimitri was certainly interested in the trolls here, but
yeah.
they're a investigation for another time, because seemingly they're keeping themselves somewhat separate from the rest of the world now, especially now the Dark Lady is stopping them raiding the northern reaches.
Well, you think it's their descendants that were doing the raiding, but the
That's
descendants
right,
are just
right,
here too.
They're young teenagers wanting to get a bit of a roustabout.
Hey, considering the dwarf in your group is still considered a teenager amongst dwarves, he's not even an adult yet, a full adult.
And how old is he?
He's about 40.
40, 50 from memory, but yeah, it's very young for a dwarf.
So when he reaches the age of 50, he's expected to settle down and run his domain. But he's also an early lord and married before being a full adult. Because the dwarves like to send their teenagers out to explore the world. That way they don't annoy them. A very orderly city with no teenagers.
Yeah, fair enough.
I know.
Imagine.
And definitely no gnomes.
No gnomes whatsoever.
No gnomes.
So you have...
What?
Go ahead, Mark.
Great. I was going to say, what's your feeling about trolls? Do we have any concerns with trolls, or not really, or giants in total? 'Cause I remember we did discuss about the giant stuff a long time ago.
It's more that
Yeah.
the fire and stone giants have taken up some of Rockholm as their own, but as you've now signed on with Karameikos, it's less of your care.
I do have a bit of heart for Rockhome, you know I do. But,
You
you know, I
do,
don't
but
yeah.
you don't have the authority to go traipsing through Rockholm, dealing with the giants in that region.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair call.
If you did, you would basically be bringing Karameikos into the dwarven affairs.
Yeah, let dwarf stuff do dwarf stuff. Sounds good.
And you have heard that the Ice Shield orcs, which were the orcs of air, had been kicked out of the mountain range here and went north.
While I want to chase some more, to get my
They were kicked out by the Giants, were they not?
They were kicked out by the Giants. They made a pact with the Ethengarian Khans and migrated north with about 4,000 orcs. That was recorded. Could have been a lot more. Then you've got the fire orcs of the Five Shires. They've been causing problems since someone didn't return some magical items they promised they would take back. Bradshaw was one of those.
I can't remember that, all my memory's gone blank.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, I'm just going to go with that memory went blank situation.
Well, but the item we were supposed to return was one of the green seeds that we collected from underneath Baba Yaga's mountain.
Yep. And you put one of those on the into the realms of the dead on the World Shield Mountain, which is a place where the spirits control. Because it got burnt to the bedrock by radiation from fallout when a nuclear reactor went over.
But partially we also did it just to help keep all 5 of them out of Craig the Cox or the vampire's hands.
So Jeremy's character is descendant of one of the gods of the setting and the vampire of the setting, who the god's also descendant of.
Yes, that's right. I'm descendant of God, and the God is a descendant of the vampire.
Yes. So vampires can
You can indicate what the vampire's like.
I'll be back in about 10 minutes time. So
Because the vampire's still around.
And there's a vampire war happening in Galantry at the moment, which is another reason why people don't go there.
Don't go to Galantry.
Okay,
I
and
agree with that.
there was a issue that some agents from the Haldanic territories had been waylaid passing through, heading towards Thyatis. At the time, most of you weren't too concerned because the Haldanic Knights and Thydans talking is the equivalent of crazy talk. You don't really want an alliance between them back then. Yeah, you think an alliance between them is not a bad idea, but they haven't yet made an alliance.
Of course, if the Haldanic Knights or the envoy was trying to go south to Thyatis through the Ethigar Khanate, then it's hardly a surprise they disappeared.
Well, they disappeared in the northern reaches. Troll territory.
Right, yep. In the attempt to avoid the Ethigar Khanate.
Just gonna check if Bond can still make it.
Do you need an extra one?
No, we've got enough. It's just that one of them was just finished work. Though with my hands not always able to type properly, all the letters creep in when I type. Better touch type, it doesn't help when your fingers don't move properly.
I can never figure it out. So it's just,
I used to do over 100 words a minute.
ooh, I can't do that.
I couldn't say I did it with accuracy, but I could do it.
They weren't English words.
Okay, so yes, they were. You did find out about the fact that there was these things happening. The previous year, you had managed to deal with the devastation orbs that were on sale close to Yalarum, and then send that to where it needed to be over the city centre of Alphatia. Like passing it through time.
Having gone through a time loop several times over, we also put a number of devastation orbs in other locations with less overall effect.
So we won't have a bond tonight.
understandable.
Well, considering she just finished at close to 9, she will be exhausted.
Yes.
Okay, so you are also have options to go look after some things for Rheddrian as usual. I just got to remember where I stuck all my notes. Just like everything, I always have lots of notes in places.
Yeah, come to try to find the rumors page or the annual events.
So okay, it's on the timeline, and you're looking for AC 1009. Okay, so just checking to make sure which ones I've got. Okay, so there are rumors in Darrakan of a Rakshasa influencing a local magistrate, as well as clockwork automation running wild, because a clockwork automation should never be uncontrolled, especially from a dwarven perspective. That's gnome tech.
You mean just tech, right?
Yeah, it's that evil tech that no one should be using. What else do we have there? Okay. So in the Northern Reaches, you also found that you were told that there was a gnomish followers of Earth had been last heard of on the border between Yalarum and the Sutterford Yaldums, and they had gone quiet. Of course, that's nothing that I'm sure Bradshaw's interested in. If the gnomes have gone quiet, it's because there were no gnomes.
And to be fair, Dimitri's not all that keen on going all that close to your alarm if you can avoid it. There's too much knowledge to be lost there.
There is artifacts that wipe people's knowledge in that region.
Oh, terrific.
To stop people following in the cursed nations in what made them become cursed in the first place. And because no one knows what gets wiped, scholars don't like to go there.
That's fair enough.
There's also rumours that if you get too much wiped, they just wipe you instead.
I vote to avoid this place.
Okay. There's also talk of a prince whose soul has been stolen in Vestland, which is the current nation you're in, as well as a frost giant enclave that has moved into the mountain ranges, and they want to know why.
That's friendly.
As friendly as anyone could be. Imagine if people the size of rats started coming into your place.
Right.
Yeah, put them into perspective. If you're tall enough, small people aren't as worthwhile to.
Imagine if bacteria started looked at you and started to get mouth.
Oh, you could have ants telling you what to do.
No.
So what is your choices? What would you like to do?
That princess
Well.
thing is nearby.
It could be something that keeping the northern reaches into a semblance of fighting force is going to be advantageous. So therefore, maintaining the continuity of the ruling party is probably advantageous. So I'm guessing that, as we're about to get on the boat, we can, there could be, we can accept the message coming up to, oh, we need your help.
Well, you
Because obviously Dimitri's always been to help.
in so many different ways.
How close is the normal travelling in?
How close is the normal
Oh, the closest Rheddrian, Northern Inn.
would be Noravik, yeah, I believe. That's
Travelling in.
Or Ilarum, let me have a quick
I was going to say, I think it was Yalarum, because they didn't have any Northern Reaches yet. Or at least they didn't last year, so there's something we did this year, but...
Okay.
And that's part of the reason why we're playing, because...
And where are the frost giants in comparison to that?
they're close by to where we are. Like in the, they're in the same, like, the reason we were going to be taking a boat is because the closest night driven in is quite some distance away. Like as in weeks of travel, or at least a couple of weeks of travel. But yes, it appears that there are potentially a couple of things we can worth investigating up here. We've investigated some of the major ones that Rheddrian wanted us to, in the sense of the Dark Lady and the isolated house that it appeared. But it appears there's been some new interest, and yeah, the idea of the giants coming through, it could potentially be worth trying to catch up with them to find out exactly how they're going compared to the dragons and the fact they pushed out the orcs. But Dimitri is probably more keen towards going for the prince and the ruling party, mainly because it's humans.
Okay, so you do know that they have a outpost at Castellan in the Sutterford Yaldums. So if you head down that way, you can get in there.
And they've opened that one up this year, right?
They have opened that up this year.
Despite the devastation of the troubles that went through last year.
Well, it was much easier to open up once the devastation had gone through. A bunch of Dragonborn sacked the city.
Okay. Not running in gear themselves. There's
Well,
races.
it's a city of thieves,
Okay.
and the dragons had said, if you don't sell us the devastation, or we will sack your city. The party then took the devastation orb, and the dragons sacked the city.
Right.
The dragons usually do what they say they do.
Yeah.
And obviously, Rheddrian generously helped the rebuild process, including building a local tavern of fine repute.
And the city's patron is Loki,
As in,
Thor and Loki.
right.
Which is another good reason not to go there.
So if you pray to anyone in that city, Loki will answer for you.
Okay.
He's more than happy to pretend to be any god.
Right.
Give advice, offer suggestions, torment you. Because all of us are active.
And he's doing what we want.
While they do what their natures are.
Yeah.
And part of Loki's nature is practical jokes.
Meant to be mean-spirited.
And turning in horses.
Yes, Mark?
So as far as, is it Calvin?
Hello.
What preference do you have?
You want to deal with giants, a prince, or gnomes?
Well, gnomes are small and they confuse me. How far away is this prince?
The prince is, so say you're in this region up here, you'd be looking at, you're roughly where that G is on the kingdom,
Yep.
with there, and it would be where that star is.
And how far away are these giants?
The giants would roughly be somewhere down here.
The gnomes would be somewhere down here.
Well, the prince is on the way. So, if I put my mind to it, I will say prince.
So you have one vote for Prince.
Alright, let's do that.
You have 2 votes for Prince.
I'll add my vote. Yeah.
So we have both Trellin and Valgath voting for saving the prince's soul.
Obviously, they've been appropriately influenced by Dimitri, who already said that, hey, the humans are the most important people in the area, so...
Just gonna nod at that.
And I'm sure that Bradshaw will just follow along because that's what Bradshaw does while Mark's away.
Or he'll go off in the other direction and catch up later, just like he just did.
Okay. Heading to the ship, it takes you 1 day to get to Norvik and another day to get audience with the king.
God, shit. Glides don't do well on water. Well, at least this one doesn't.
Well, if you were water aspected, then you wouldn't care that much about it.
No,
But you like to seek.
It's earth, it's solid ground, you can't move something.
Though the ship you get into is bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
That's just worse. That is not better.
And you don't even feel the ocean moving while you're inside it.
That's unnatural.
Look outside, you see the waves moving all over the place, and it's just like it's perfectly flat.
No, this is a nightmare. This is going to be a nightmare trip. Woohoo! Despite being a day long.
And you know, Dimitri's good friends with the captain. Effectively, well, Dimitri certainly treats it as his ship, and most of the crew accepts Dimitri's authority on it.
Dimitri is the only remaining party member that had shares in the ship,
Oh, there you go.
which is handy when the others die out.
I
Okay,
didn't listen to Dimitri enough, that's the problem.
so that means it is the 14th day of the 6th month of 1009, which makes it the night of the full moon. Every month is 28 days,
Oh, these guys are sensible. I love it.
and every 14th of the month is a full moon. So every month is a moon.
There you go. Oh, these guys, so sensible and logical.
The gods that made this universe were very ordered.
Okay.
I mean, imagine living in a universe where there were 12 months and they were all different days.
Well,
Some had 30 and some had 31 and one had 28.
to make it scary for you, in our current culture, if we were to make every month 28 days, we would have 13 months of 28 days.
And it would fit quite neatly.
And it would fit perfectly.
I think, isn't there like a 6 day? You can get a 6
No,
days.
there's a leap day that happens every 4 years that makes everything else work.
This is just making me rush.
But because it was 13, it was an unlucky number.
Oh my god.
Okay, so with the day, okay, so the 15th is actually the night of the full moon, and as it is summer, it's a red moon. Every season has a different moon,
Oh, lovely.
and as there's 4 seasons, there's 4 colors. Entropy represents the eclipsing of the moon.
Good.
So it does fit into all the stories and stuff.
So this is like the day of fire. Night of fire.
Night of Fire. That's where the sphere of energy is strongest. Though the following month, the 7th, is the peak of their power.
Right. Okay.
So power is growing, peaks, and then dips. And that represents the 3 moons of the season. As fire energy equals summer. And most people travel during summer.
Makes sense.
They start out in spring, summer, and autumn, and when winter comes, they hole up because that's just a horrible time to travel.
Except if you're alive.
gods of time really mess with people in that period. You can take twice as long to travel the same distance. Yeah, is that important? Okay, so I believe Mark will have dropped out for the time being. So he'll come back later. If he's feeling any better, that is. So yes, from each of your perspectives, Jeremy, you would know that this is the Karameikian people, at least the nobles, on a horses the following day, the 15th of the month, is their national day of horsemanship. Which is something that singles them out from the standard Thyatans.
Yeah. Well, hey, that puts them way too close to this side. Obviously, far too much influence on those Rheddrians.
There are 5 species of, five ethnic groups of Thyatans, and each of them has a tribulation. Okay, so
Someone for this horse. Baglass is a big fan of horses.
I'm sure they taste great.
Well, they go pretty fast as well.
Okay, so
They
yes.
can't swim. Every sensible creature has very limited swimming capabilities.
Horses can swim quite well.
No, they can't.
I can run on
No, they
water.
can't. This is both Baglass. This is Baglass opinions. No, they can't.
As fast as a horse.
If you ever see a horse swimming, it's not a horse.
Russell points at his horse and goes, horse, swim.
Nah. Nah.
And you see the horse elongate his head upside down and look at you.
I'm not looking in that direction.
As he seems to be scratching his tail with his head.
Black horse is good.
I think it's a natural. That's okay, you haven't met him in the stables yet. He hangs from the ceiling.
Look at that.
Both his hooves. At least you think they're hooves, they look like hooves.
I really hope they're not.
So yes, after getting into see the king of Vestlane, who will show that your great exploits around the world. So what great thing has Valgath done that everyone talks about, that you're embarrassed about, or prideful about?
That I'm embarrassed about?
One that you're embarrassed about, and one that you're prideful about.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot.
Did you save a orphanage just to eat the children?
He doesn't eat children.
Could have been a goblin orphanage.
I like to think he's saved an orphanage and then accidentally burnt it down the next day. Something that definitely wasn't his fault. Definitely didn't involve alcohol, and he will deny it.
Okay, so
The orphans are fine. Like they were only semi
at least
burnt.
At least they were the day before when you saved them.
Yeah, they were fine. They were fine on the 12th.
And what is something that the Norsemen celebrate Dimitri for?
Yeah. I think it's not actually been up here except on this current visit. So they would obviously have heard of his great exploits of generosity and willingness and knowledge and understanding of the world, and he's come to provide the king. He paid respect for the king and offered him the opportunity of the great sage Dimitri.
Okay, and so with Trellin, are you known here as the elf or as the halfling?
I think as the elf.
Okay, and
Is that a bad thing?
no, that's completely up to you. That's why I'm asking. And why do they know about you here? What have you done that's impressed them?
I don't know.
Would you like me to make it up?
Yeah, just make it up. Yep.
Okay. So, as you're escorted in, you hear talk of there goes the orphanage as you're escorted in. Just a few of those conversations happening around
Most of
you.
the orphanage. Some of it's
I
fun.
mean, certainly one thing that the Northmen would be somewhat impressed about, obviously, from Dimitri's perspective, is the fact that the great Captain Petrov pays homage to Dimitri and recognises his greatness.
Quite possibly. So,
I don't know if the frost giant are scared of my flame tongue sword.
well, these are the frost giants.
That might play a part.
These are the Norsemen, the Vikings of the setting, who are very warlike and love the ocean. So think standard
Okay.
Vikings from mythology, not actual historical.
Well, I
Vikings.
don't need a ship. I can just run on the water.
Okay, so yes, there's discussion of he's so fast he can run on water when they see the elf go past. Apparently he's done so on more than one occasion for money. Not for his money, but for some sort of bet, and other people have made money out of it. He hasn't quite noticed that people bet on his running across the river, or up the river sort of storylines. And then you hear the talk of this great captain, benefactor, so-and-so, that they don't quite get his name right. Apparently there's no name in their current language for Dimitri. But they refer to the great captain's benefactor. I wonder if he's anything, if he's any worth beyond his purse, is one of the discussions they have around. I'm sure he knows something useful other people say. I've heard the benefactor won't stop talking, another one says.
I
And,
said that Dimitri's reputation preceded him.
and a few of them are very annoyed that Drussel's shown up because apparently he confuses them.
This horse confuses me.
Well, he tells them about things that he hasn't done yet, or that he's previously done in the wrong test.
Can I like quietly signal to the people from the hunt vessel just to get out? Just leave while you can.
Okay, so most of them see you doing that sort of look and decide, I think I really want to be here, and leave. As you see Druzzle walk up to the king and start giving him a dressing down in front of his group.
That doesn't sound very healthy. But
In Draconic.
Terrific. What's he saying?
Does your character know Draconic?
It does.
He's telling him off for sending his people to war, and by the description of it, it's a war that hasn't happened yet.
Every thing I hear about Dressel just confuses me more.
Yeah. So through my shadow amulet, I can understand as well, but I
And
can't talk.
the reason we've come in here obviously is because we've heard rumours that the prince has come into misfortune, and when we're talking prince, we are talking son of the king of Norveg.
It is the son of the king of Vestland,
Yeah.
and the nation. Yes.
After Drazzle somewhat into his dressing down for the team, Dimitri's not one to interrupt someone in a good rant. He
doesn't rant very often.
He'll step in and suggest, Drazzle, perhaps some leeway for the obvious strain and pressure that His Majesty must be under at this time, considering the situation of his unfortunate son. And Dimitri definitely puts emphasis on at this time.
Drazzle looks at Dimitri and goes, right time. Talk done. Your go. And then walks out. Apparently he came all this way just to tell off the king for what he hasn't gone to yet. So the king looks bewildered in your direction and going, I don't understand what he said.
No one does.
I'd be more than happy to explain. But perhaps there are other issues on your mind at the present time which makes understanding more difficult.
Well, I have put out a call for hag specialists. I'm assuming you're specialised in dealing with hags.
Well, we are. Not sure to make sure.
I am able to deal with anything that might come across. I have knowledge of all that needs to be known.
That's good. Then you should be able to find out what the hag's done with my son's soul so I can return him to life. As she's stolen his soul.
Difficult.
Has this hag bothered you in the past?
According to Drazzle, she's bothered me in the future as well. So if you can stop her now, that would be great. But his people have told him that everything leads to her being in the sewers under the city.
Okay.
Now, in the rumours we've heard of the king having these problems, was there any mention of reward for the return of the son's soul?
There is not, but there's... do you ask the king?
Right, that's just one tip from the actual information before doing something. King, Your Majesty, I say, we'd be more than happy to provide such assistance, but the world is unfortunately a scary place, and our services have been needed in many places.
Well, the hag has...
We made it all the way here.
But the hag has basically said if we don't declare war on the Haldenic territories, then I'll never see my son again.
And now the Haldenians have declared war on the Alphatians after Alphatians been on the land, haven't they?
They have.
Yeah. The world is a dangerous enough place as it is without having additional wars and disputes going on all the time. Perhaps it would be advantageous if we can hold off any such hostilities.
He said that would be great, and he'll look at some other sort of monetary reward if that's the sort of thing you would appreciate.
No. Obviously, no reward is necessary. Saving the world is really something we'll have to do.
Yeah.
He will send along one of his centrals to tell you where to go in the sewers.
Awesome.
And I'm sure this is right up your alley, having heard that one of you is very good at blowing up things. He says, looking at the Goliath, this is not a blow-up place.
One outhouse survived this.
Is the flame tongue sword okay?
I'm sure the flame tongue sword is okay, he says. He has no idea what it says. It's a sword. If it goes boom, then it's not okay.
Alright.
Until it goes boom, it's perfectly fine.
No worries. The
Well,
longbow venom
it's been
Should be
cleaned
fine.
before. Remove some of the smell of the sewer pretty go through.
It would make it cleaner.
So hopefully while we're not in it.
I'm immune to poison and disease, so I'm happy to go down there.
Okay. So you've been given a set of instructions that lead you to a part of the sewers hidden away from the main section, off from the runoff pipes, and looks far older than most places you would have been for a while.
Early sewers then.
It's not. It's
Okay.
something that's been, the sewers have been built and connected into. Predates the sewers.
Dimitri, the king didn't give any indication as to timeline of how much time the witch has given him before he has to declare war, and or how long it might be before his son can soul and survive in the hands of witches. So Dimitri would be planning on at least doing a bit of a stop at a couple of the taverns or things like that. If there's a local centre of learning to gain more information and background to this.
They do
Can
have
we go back a bit? Are we talking about a hag or a lich?
a hag, you believe.
I
No
said
worries.
I said witch like a black hat, not lich.
Ah, okay, cool.
And there is a temple of Odin you can go to, the All-Father, who knows everything.
Well, he seems much helpful.
Well, just because he knows everything doesn't mean he shares everything.
If we ask him nicely.
And to be fair, Odin immediately brings back memories of one of Dimitri's earlier companions, with a priest of a follower of Odin, although he was looked at Howard's version of Odin discovered. So, but he does recognise that Odin is a font of knowledge.
So there's always a price to pay. What are you willing to give up for knowledge is generally the first thing a priest of knowledge asks.
I can give you one first, I'll finish.
Do you own the
But as I say,
I did.
Dimitri would be happy to just get local knowledge from literally the locals. Buy a couple rounds of drinks at a couple taverns, and look for stories or information about this hag and or the king's son.
Okay. So it's not too hard for you to do the rounds and speak to various people. So I'm gonna make it a skill roll. So what sort of skill are you trying to use to get knowledge? There are many social style skills.
I mean, it would seem the logical one would be something like persuasion. Because obviously, Dimitri thinks he's good at talking to people or hearing from people.
But the rest of the party don't.
Well, so he does have -1 on the roll.
Just go for it.
Okay, so we'll go with the persuasion, I guess.
So the different things that you can do, as example, while you're doing the roll there is culture is one of the skills of the advanced game, as well as intimidation, investigation, performance, and persuasion all work for doing stuff. You can even do other skills to convince people to do this thing for you.
Okay, I mean, technically, yes. Investigation is probably logical in the sense that he's actually trying to find the information, but either way, I rolled a 3, so with investigation +6, that only makes it a 9.
Would it be possible to see how much older the sewer entrance is looking older there?
Well, at the moment he's doing the investigation before you go down, so you'll find that out after you've finished getting information about stuff.
Right, but can I, looking at it,
Very good legwork before we start.
You'd probably say it predates the civilization being here.
right, okay.
which means probably 1,000 to 2,000 years.
Right. Okay.
And Dimitri went up with a black eye very quickly. Apparently he used fighting words. He said hello.
He had that free drinks.
Dimitri's not quite sure how it happened. He didn't even see it coming. But he did wake up with a mug of beer in his hand, which was warm and a bit sour tasting.
Well, that's right. He's not into drinking beer anymore.
I know, that's why I said it was in your hands.
Yep.
Is you're going, what the hell is this? Okay, so how does Trellin go about getting information from the locals?
If you try.
What kind of information do you think we need?
Dimitri was asking to find out what the locals knew about the hag, the sewers, and what's going on. Any local gossip?
Basically, yeah. All we know so far is that the son's soul was being taken, and apparently it's a hag that's been doing it, and so therefore, the king's expecting that we know about hags and how to deal with them. But yeah, Dimitri was actually just asking for, okay, what are the stories and information?
So how would Trellin go about getting that sort of information for him?
Well, I've also got a -1 on persuasion and such, so
I've got an interpretation.
You don't have to use persuasion.
that would be a good source.
Well, look at it this way. You could say I do acrobatic tricks to convince people that I'm able to amuse them while I ask them questions. And you can use the equivalent of persuasion with dexterity as the attribute.
Would there be some way to follow Trellin and help like get Lull into kind of
Quite possibly.
paying attention?
But you might end up in a barroom roll.
Oh, that'd be good, yeah. Well, I could use sleight of hand, which is +9.
But barroom roll is the main thing that they do here for their relaxation. There's a lot of Thor's followers in here as well.
Would it be possible to get information through a barroom roll?
Possibly, depending on how successful you are at surviving it. People tend to die in rolls. And that's all good because, hey, they died in battle.
That's fair.
So, you want to do sleight of hand sort of thing? Martin?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that sounds great.
So you come up with some way to mystify the simple people of the Northern Reaches with your sleight of hand. Give me a sleight of hand.
So I got 22.
Okay, you have lots of gasps and amazement as you perform simple childhood tricks. The equivalent of, I got your nose. And did you have a quarter in your ear? And you were the talk of the tavern.
Maybe I did. Yeah.
And so what you find out is that there's rumours that when they put the sewers in, they disturbed the home of a night hag, a creature of the Fey realm who lives underneath the city, and that she
So,
had
the night hag singular?
night hag singular as far as they know. They've never actually seen, none of the living have seen her because she generally kills those she sees and takes their soul.
Okay.
So the rumours are all there. Have you seen it? No, he died. It must have been the night hag. It wasn't that arrow to the chest at all whatsoever.
Wasn't that sword that is bloody, that is currently held?
You know, all that wound in his side, it was obviously the night hag came in the middle of the night and took his soul.
Right.
The 17 knife stabs to the back. It was suicide by my hand.
I know it's always murder, it's never suicide because suicide is, distasteful. No one really wants to die. And killing yourself obviously is not a great idea, so anyone who's found dead is obviously the Night Hag's problem in the city. She's been very prolific at stealing souls as far as you know. And the rumors are that if you can release the soul from the Night Hag, those that have recently died will come back to life. Beat up the hag and save the world!
Monster. They love their stories.
And they also talk about how there's great rumors about fleets of ships being built by the Phaeacians to the south. As the Norse are wondering, are they coming north to battle? And they're all excited. Battle! We get to beat people up! And if there's a war and they're not invited, they feel sad. They don't really care which side they're fighting on as long as they get to fight.
It's not simple. I like that.
Problem is, no one really wants to ask them to fight because the Norse don't really care who they're fighting and have a tendency to kill their allies as much as their enemies.
So you kind of just want to let them loose.
And they're sure yourself. Yeah. Who fight them? We're going this way.
Yes.
But there's also a problem that they'll fight themselves as much as the enemy. Just dying in battle is important, not who you're fighting.
Yes, there you go.
So did they give any useful information about this Night Hag? Or
The fact that it's a Night Hag is more information than you had to go on beforehand. And that she is a fey creature.
Yeah.
And that she predated their settlement. She can change her form. But whatever form she's in, you can tell it's a Night Hag by her claws.
It's not a very good form change, eh?
Well,
Like wearing gloves.
It's like the rat Sasha always says the thumbs on the wrong side of the hand, no matter what form it's in.
Fair enough.
Everything has a tail. If you know the tail, you can tell the creature. If you don't know the tail, then you would assume it's some other sort of beastie because of the claws.
Alright, okay. Rule in my head for this entire town, good people's hands.
And she can appear as a little child.
Oh, that's creepy.
Thank you very much. I have, it was wonderful. Thank you. Beware kids, some selling candy. Not the usual beware, but hey, they're also different.
Well, I say we go kill ourselves a hag.
So remembering a lot of the way the world works, you don't necessarily have to kill her, you just have to beat her.
You didn't retrieve the soul,
Because
not necessarily kill the hag.
if you kill her, you may upset whatever she works for. Most things don't work on their own.
Yes, but my Goliath brain is someone has told me I need to be something.
And
I
hey,
need something to uphold.
killing is often the simplest way of retrieving things, but
I'm sure you had a long talk
killing is more
about
likely to come with consequences. Does Dimitri have, I guess so, thinking back on his last score of knowledge and information, what we're told that it's a night hag, not just a hag, as the king said. Is that going to be religion, or arcana, or history?
Okay, so considering you actually do have some knowledge and you have dealt with various people talking about things, I would say that both Trellin and Dimitri do know of night hags.
And what do we know of night hags?
One thing you do know of is if they touch you, you are cursed in combat for a full cycle of the moons, from one full moon to the next. You likely have disadvantage for that entire time. Which is why a lot of the Norse will not fight in Nighthawk. Because if they touch you, you're going to fail most combats.
Do we know if this is skin or just touching armor?
Doesn't matter what they touch. If they touch you,
But if they touch something I'm wearing, is that kind of...
it can touch someone in plate armor.
like this.
They are things that are terrified in Norsemen. They can choose to, instead of just curse you, they can put you to sleep with a touch.
New plan. Let's have a chat with the Nighthawk.
And if you sleep within their domain, they can enter your dreams and kill
What are
you.
you about to say if you sleep with them? And I'm like, whoa.
That's also possible.
Definitely not.
So what extra information do Dimitri and I have?
So you know that they can, if they touch you, they can curse you and send you to sleep. Even an elf will fall asleep to their touch.
Of weaknesses, strengths.
The main weakness of the Night Hag is she radiates evil. She is literally evil. As an aspect of the nature itself. As from the Fey realm. So some parts of the Fey realm are good, some parts are evil. You don't have the evil aspect, you don't have the good aspect. And she's resistant to magic.
Resistant to magic.
To magic, yes.
Being Fey, cold iron is...
Cold iron is not any more effective against her than it is against you. Part of being a Night Hag gives her special properties that not all other hags share.
Okay. Does she have weaknesses then?
The main weakness is she doesn't have a coven as far as you can tell.
So
that just means she's not as powerful as she could be, not necessarily a weakness.
So from what you've heard of Night Hags, that is the only weakness you know of, is she doesn't have a coven.
Okay.
Because there's no talk about how all the people in the region are having their dreams stolen.
Yeah.
So if there's a coven in the region, then everyone who sleeps is racked with horrible nightmares.
Yeah. Okay, so she doesn't have any particular weaknesses for particular styles of weapons or materials and things like that. Does she require anything particularly special to try and hit?
She does not. Like, she has no special weaknesses. She
And
doesn't have any special defenses.
Yeah.
It's one of those balancing things. If they have special weaknesses, they have special defenses.
Okay, so good news for that and for dwarf on my head. I think exactly. Yep. Okay. There's that. Your weapons should be equally effective against her as anything else. Okay. But it may be advantageous if we don't have to kill her, then again it will have less disruption on the overall influence in society at the present time. So.
Okay, so from everything you've heard about how the hag is, the fact that she is evil is basically if you can convince her that whatever you're doing is in her best interests, she's likely to go along those lines. As she's very concerned about self-interest over the interests of others.
Nothing that Dimitri would understand. Everybody's such a selfless and worthy individual for looking after others at all times.
You can't swap Dimitri for the prince, right?
Hey, the prince may be a little young. You don't know exactly how old the prince is. It might be the prince is a 6-year-old. No one's actually told you how old the prince is, or what the prince is good at. And if the prince is an adult, the prince may be more annoying than Dimitri. That is possible.
And that's why it was one of the lines of investigation Dimitri was going for was actually who the prince is, what he's like and things like that. But obviously he didn't get very far with his investigations.
Okay, so...
Or maybe that's when he got punched. He tried to raise a round of drinks to the prince.
Quite possible. Okay, so that night passes rather uneventfully. Dimitri wakes up in the morning with a black eye and the beer. The rest of you all found out all about the hag. And does our Goliath Belkath, does he seek any other information himself that night?
No, he's pretty happy to just,
You end up in a lot of wrestling bar brawls with locals.
There seems to be one of my people.
Well, they honour Thor a lot here.
Thor hits things. I hit things. This is
Well, he's known as the Thunderer for a reason. And sometimes it's just the drinks they have. Would have made even our dwarf here in the eye, remembering just how bad a smile that his goat used to make. Thunder has different meanings.
yes.
Okay, so morning comes along. It's the night of the red moon, and you know that during this night the hag will have her powers the weakest, being the night of fire, or one of the other full moons. A night hag would not be at her strongest.
So got stroke of midnight.
During an eclipse, she would be quite powerful.
Is this an eclipse?
No eclipse today.
Alright, I reckon we wait half a month for the eclipse, so it should be a really good fight. No, I say we go now.
Let's not do that. Let's just go with taking the full advantage.
Okay. So it's considered that midday is the holiest part of the day for the sphere of fire. So that is where it is most potent. So as long as you go into the sewers at midday, you have the hag at her weakest.
Well, I would probably aim to head down there about 10 or 11 o'clock. We don't know exactly how long it takes to find the hag down in the surface. So.
Yeah, well, hey, as long as you head down and get there around that time, that's roughly what you're
okay.
be considering. So that's where you... go ahead, Jeremy. So that's where you make it down. You've still got roughly an hour before the sun reaches the highest point. And you're outside the area that they had broken into as part of the sewers. A complex made out of bone instead of stone. Supposedly from the bones of those the hag has taken in the past.
Terrific.
It's not the only people Dimitri's encountered that like to use bones of the dead as part of their decoration. Yes, the people he's descended from also do that. It's part of their belief system. Waste not, want not. And the more you turn it into decoration, the less likely it's going to get up and chase you.
I mean, yeah, you've got to separate the bugs.
Well, a cemetery in a fantasy setting with necromancy is a horrible idea.
Yeah, that's a good point. Cremation. Cremation is probably common.
So, as you come down this passageway, it breaks into a T-intersection where you can see light coming from either direction.
What colour light?
Blue.
Both blue?
Both blue. Both giving off that buzzing sort of glow that is always horrifying to those who understand Arcana.
Can I roll Arcana?
Sure.
Nine.
9. Is it a natural one?
That's a 3.
So,
I wish I had +8 to Arcana.
So, looking either way, they both look roughly the same to you. So, did Dimitri wish to give each of them a quick glance?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. I'll do the same.
Was it Arcana, was it?
Arcana, yep. So, and what about Trellin?
Perception.
You can do it with Arcana. Do you know Arcana?
No. So perception's way better.
Give me a perception roll.
The perception is perfectly reasonable in the sense that you may be looking for other clues as to what might be down your pathway, not necessarily based upon the glowing blue light.
Yeah.
So, what did you get for your perception roll?
It's 22 actually.
22. Okay, so Jeremy, what Dimitri sees is that each of the glows he sees to the east and to the west appear to be summoning circles. You can see the runes twisting and moving in the air, and what appears to be shadows seeping from them. Trellin can actually see the shadows clearly stepping out of these portals and slowly slinking along the hallway towards you.
Can I? So I've got a 55-foot movement. Can I run to it? Can I get to it in one move?
You can, but there's more than one. There are shadows coming from each direction.
I'm assuming.
Well, I'd like to get to it and turn on my flame tongue sword.
Okay. Give me an attack roll as you move in.
21.
21. Okay, that is a hit. Give me some damage.
Okay. Been so long.
It has to have been getting a lot of blood from home.
So it's a lot of plot, not a lot of combat.
Well, if you give them the combat without the plot, they don't understand the combat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, 3d8 plus 5. Um, 22.
22. Okay. The creature
And then if you want the fire damage on top of that is 7.
the fire damage is completely unnecessary at this point, as it burns up with your strike, taking the shadow out. You have more than one attack you can make in a round.
Yes.
You can move to another one and attack again.
Okay.
You can move
That's a bit more poor. That's 13.
That is still a hit.
Okay.
Some creatures have Rheddrians.
Yes.
But when they hit
21 damage.
he also disappears
Sorry.
in flame of your blade.
My cat is chasing the D20 all over the floor.
But is he happy?
I'm not sure.
If he's happy, he may have just lost the dice. Okay, sir. Do you have any more attacks?
No.
Okay.
If I'm just... So I could take an extra, like by spending a chi point, I could have an extra unarmed strike, but it doesn't seem worth it because I'm just smashing
So
shadows.
far, they're not being a significant threat. Yes.
So I'll save the chi points for later.
Okay, so I'm going to ask each of you to give me an initiative check now that Trellon has initiated combat. I gave Trellon first chance to do so.
Okay.
Belgath is on 20.
And Dietrich's on 6.
So Dimitri's obviously paying great attention to these sigils.
I got 12.
He was making the decision in termination as to confirming they're both active, but they're summoning the same creatures.
Okay, so while this is happening, Belgath goes first into combat. So what is Belgath's favourite weapon?
Longsword.
A longsword? Okay, so that means are you doing a one-handed or two-handed?
One-handed because you've got a shield.
Okay, so you'll be rolling at least 3d8 damage.
So because of the level up.
You'll be at
the
least
damage.
expert.
Alright.
That's not counting it being magical or anything. It's just that
It's
is
a
your
longsword.
skill with it, and you add your proficiency twice to it.
So my proficiency is
Should be
plus
plus
4.
4.
So is that to damage or to
That's to hit.
hit? Okay. So
You should miss a lot less with weapons you're expert or higher with.
So the way that what's his name? Val has charged.
Yes, so Trellon has charged one direction towards one of the big glowing sigil rooms. You're looking in the other direction, you can see these, what appears to be shadowy forms coming your way.
Alright, well I'm going to attack them then, I guess.
You charge in.
Alright. Nearest one to me
Yep.
is going to attack them with a oh boy. 15.
That is a hit.
Oh, brilliant. So it's 3. So it's a longsword, so 3d8 plus 8 or 3d8?
3d8 plus your strength bonus.
So it's 4. Okay. So 14, 16, 20.
20. Okay, you also see the creature turn into flame as you strike it.
Ah! Another!
And you have more than one attack.
2!
You have 2 attacks. So you can move to another one that's coming towards you. As you've just done the split the party action.
Yes, I have. Well, I was looking that direction.
It's not like the party doesn't do that fairly often.
I was looking this
You
direction.
fit right in.
Oh, that's better. 22.
It's also a hit.
I'd
It'd
be
be bad
a
if
bit-
it was a
I'd be a bit concerned if that didn't. In my haste to run down, did I actually see how many shadow creatures there were?
No.
Okay.
You have no idea because your perception is that low.
I didn't even roll perception.
You were rolling your arcana studying these sigils.
Yep. Saw shadowy creature, went, let's go for it. Oh, that's terrible. 15.
15 is a hit. Oh, sorry, the 15 is enough for it to go boom as well.
Oh, terrific.
Okay, then it is their go. As you see 2 of them slide up towards you, having taken out half their numbers.
It's 4. I can do maths.
As it tries to hit you.
And what was really impressive, it didn't need to take off his boots.
Yes. You're saying you didn't need to take off your boots to count.
Ah, right.
And the second one tries to attack you. That's a 20.
No.
Then you basically feel the scratching off it against your armor.
Now, for me, you need to roll 2 dice and
Yep.
take the lowest. Because I have a cloak of displacement.
It's a shame it wasn't just the sword that was giving you that, because they are shadow creatures. Because your sword would have been enough for them within melee range of you to have disadvantage anyway.
Right.
Okay, so disadvantage means the first one hits armor class 12. And I do roll 20
oh.
4. Which is. And then at armor class 10, obviously your displacement cloak is working for you.
Or the sword.
As 2 of them try to attack you, as there were 4 on your side, and you've taken out 2 of them as well. That brings us to Trellon. You've got them either side of you, clawing at you, trying to attack you. They get no benefits from surrounding you.
Well, that's a question.
Right.
Flanking can help.
That you play with the advantage flanking, because apparently I knew that was something in 5e that it is actually.
So 21 to hit.
It is in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So 21 is a hit. It's one of the optional rules.
It's an optional rule.
There are a lot of optional rules that people don't.
Yes.
And is that one destroyed, or?
How much damage do you do? You can do minimum damage and not destroy it, but I have a feeling that you won't.
I'll do maximum damage.
How did you go for your damage?
That is 17 damage.
17 is enough for it to burn away on you. Do you strike out at the other one on the other side of you?
Yes, I will do that as well.
Your flaming blade is writing letters in the air, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Saying, thou shalt not pass.
but that's only 17 to hit.
That is still a hit. Your 17 is amazing, considering that armor class is 12. When you're dead, you don't really have a choice in what your armor class is.
That means wait. So that means if you plus your proficiency twice onto 2 hit.
You'll
Right.
only miss on all one.
Yeah, well, I guess.
And then if you're a grandmaster, you crit on all one.
So that is 14.
That is 14. Okay, it also burns up with your strike. That was 14 to damage or 14 to hit?
I think I got I've forgotten what I rolled, but you told me it was a hit,
It's a hit, so yes.
and so I rolled damage.
So it's taken down, and do you move into the chamber with all the arcane sigils floating out, or do you move back to Dimitri?
I'll move back to Dimitri.
Okay. That brings us to Dimitri. You've seen many shadows get burnt away from your compatriots. There are 2 currently challenging Valgarth. What do you do?
He looks like he's having fun so far, doesn't he? I guess I should. No, so I'm happy to allow him some fun, so I will delay at least until after his actions.
Do you wish to study the sigils more?
Well, how far away from them am I? I'm assuming I'm some distance from them present time still.
You're about 40 feet from them. From either one of them. You're in the middle.
The okay. I am happy to wait for them to have fun, so I will look at the sigils that don't have down the other corridor that Fallon's already cleared. But okay, I'm looking at them from a distance of 40 feet. Just to see.
Okay.
Okay, yep. Interpretation, yep.
Give me an Arcana check then.
27.
Okay, you do recognize them as summoning circles connected to the plane of shadow.
and
Which would
they
suit the
appear
night
to
hag.
be consistently summoning.
You think that they're going to drop at least one around while they are still there. They look like guardian portals to keep the riffraff out and make them serve their hag.
Yeah.
Any who die by them will most likely have the soul claimed by the hag.
Yep. All good.
And you have a feeling that most of these shadows are the souls of the people the hag has taken
Yeah, presumably so.
and repurposed.
Hopefully not. Hopefully one of them isn't the prince.
Well, apparently she did promise to give it back if the king did something.
No, that's right. Sorry. Admittedly, that doesn't mean she's not using her guard beforehand, but hopefully she's keeping it safe.
That is fair. So that brings us to the top of the round and Velgath. What does Velgath wish to do? Does
Well, there
Velgath wish to...
are two shadows in front of me, and these two shadows will die.
They're already dead.
They'll die.
They'll re-die?
They'll die harder. That's 24.
24 is a hit. Difference between D&D and Pathfinder 2. If you beat the number by 10, it's automatic critical hit. It doesn't have a 20. A 20 is not a critical hit. A 20 upgrades the check to the next level.
Maths. 19.
19. Okay, that shadow dissipates with the blow.
Ha! And the other one. 27.
27 is a hit.
And 20.
20. It also goes down with your blow.
Brilliant.
And so after having watched
Oh, can I still move?
had his fun, Dimitri will mention, okay, I think we should be shutting down these circles, and he'll move forward to suggest that
Well, Velgath has returned to your side before you started telling him that.
sorry,
Velgath has...
Trellin returned, that's right.
Trellin and
yeah.
Velgath returned to your side before
Oh,
you
they
introduced
did,
them.
okay.
Because
well,
they
I
both had
suggest
movement.
that at least one of them stay at either at the junction here or just beyond to watch for any more. They expect that there'll be more shadows coming from that direction, and we'll go and close down the circle on the left. I don't know whether that was Trellin's side or Velgath's side, but
Well, it can be either side now because they're both in the centre and one's holding the centre for you.
exactly. He was probably going to go for Trellin's side simply because Trellin cleared them first.
Hey. He went.
Well,
Hey, he's not stating that, it's just that, hey, that was already cleared, so he was already heading off in that direction.
okay.
And so he'll basically move down to the summoning circle area and take a look and see if there's an appropriate way to disable the circle.
Okay.
Don't want to destroy it, just disable it.
Give me an Arcana check as you look at it. Up close. I'll give you advantage having looked at it previously.
Doesn't make much difference because I was 14 on the initial roll and a 3 for the second. 24.
24. Okay, so looking at it, you can see that this is a consecrated ground to the sphere of entropy. You can disrupt it for a time, but you can't permanently shut it down. Not unless
And that's, he certainly had no desire to permanently shut it down. Mainly he wants to shut it down for at least a couple of hours or so, but potentially it'll be a day, I guess.
But any damage you do to it will most likely upgrade the monsters it's spitting out. As you become a threat.
I was happy with the AC 12 ones.
You think instead of shadows, you'll be spitting out wraiths.
Bring them on.
As I said, he has no desire to destroy it, merely effectively disable it for a couple hours. And so he's not even wanting to actually damage him, he can avoid it. He just wants to actually it's just the idea of covering one of the sigils and blocking one of breaking the seal with just some a layer of some material or something. That would do the simple way of fixing it?
You think the simple way of breaking it is physical damage done to it via might or magic, or a hello spell will shut it down as long as you use daylight as your choice for the night of the moon.
Okay, certainly the hello is not you would want to use. You could use it to say want to.
But considering Hello has a casting time of 24 hours, it's not the easiest one to drop. But that's basically what you need to do to bring the circle down completely. Is Hello is the
as I say, that's not what he's aiming for. How much damage would it take to actually disrupt it temporarily?
20. You'd think about 20 points in one attack. Or a combined damage more than that.
Okay. Well, he'll try and do it subtly first of all, and just pick one of the sigils, and he'll just go for a firebolt onto the sigil to smudge it away a bit. Okay. Attack roll of 17.
You hit.
And damage 22.
22. Okay, you see the sigils go dark and disappear.
Okay.
As you hear a cracking noise, and what appears to be a greater undead appears in the summoning circle. So you now have to make all three of you get to make a wisdom saving throw. Even the one down the corridor, because you're within range.
Oh, what's it against?
Wisdom.
No, like what is the characteristic of it? Like
fear.
Description of it. Is it fear or charm or whatever?
It is fear.
Karameikos is not concerned with the natural 20.
14.
A total of 26.
So, Dimitri is nonplussed by this dread wraith here, whereas the Goliath is terrified. By its aura. How did Trellin get with his save versus
I got a 10. Let's have a look. I think I only get a +3. Yep, so only 13.
Okay. You are also terrified by this creature.
Okay.
And as it's just appeared, he gets to act before you do, though, because Dimitri was the one who was acting, having caused it to appear. It makes a great sword of shadow appear and tries to strike out at Dimitri. But because of Trellin's flaming blade, he has disadvantage. So your sword's actually protecting Dimitri at the moment.
Even though I'm halfway up the corridor, yeah.
That is correct. I thought you were next to him while we had the Goliath in the corridor. You told the Goliath to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, but yes. So I'm just having a look at the radius. And it's a 40-foot radius. These
Yeah.
flames shed bright light in a 40-foot radius and dim light for an additional 40 feet.
Would a 19 hit Dimitri?
It would. Sorry. Yes, it would.
So Dimitri now has to make a Constitution saving throw.
18.
18. 18 is the magic number.
Marvelous.
As you're about to take a bunch of damage.
Oh, he's getting out his dice box.
So that is 13 points of slashing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And is Dimitri immune to poison?
I'm a vague feeling he...
I know that your other character is.
That's right, that's right. No. It's the, he gets some aspect, but it's all gaseous spot trying to get touched up.
So that is 2 maximum
however-
on the dice and 3 minimum on the dice, so you did well on that roll. So 15 points of poison damage on top of the 13 points of slashing damage.
I just want to double check because he's got his arcane ward and 13 slashing wouldn't actually get through the arcane ward. I don't know that actually makes a difference on what time. Do I need to do...
Well, if the slashing doesn't get through, then the poison is added to the damage of the
yeah, that's
ward.
absolutely fine. So how much was the total?
It was 28 damage.
Okay.
Could I have used my reaction on the creature appearing?
What would your reaction have been?
It would have been a +4 to saving throw.
+4 to saving throw, and what reaction is that?
It's the arcane deflection.
Arcane deflection. And does that work against fear attacks? Aura?
It just says a +4 bonus to that saving throw.
Technically you can. What would that have made it? 18. 18, then okay, you have made that, but you've used your reaction for that.
Yes, and also I can't cast spells other than cantrips until the end of next turn.
Okay, so you brought that up, and then that brings us to he has a second attack, multi-attack.
Oh, brilliant.
So we can do paralyzing terror a couple of times. Okay, so he chooses to use paralyzing terror on Dimitri.
Mm-hmm.
So Dimitri gets to make a wisdom saving throw.
Uh, 21.
Then he uses paralyzing terror on the Goliath, who made a saving throw.
Oh boy. 3.
3. Okay, so yes, you are now paralyzed for 1 minute. But you get to make the saving throw at the end of your turns.
Oh, brilliant.
Okay, so that brings us to Trellin. So actually, Velgath is at the top. So Velgath, you're just sort of standing there and you get to make that saving throw, and then Trellin gets to go.
Oh, amazing. 12.
Well, still paralyzed.
Yay!
And then-
is it wisdom?
It is wisdom saving throw, yes.
Damn it.
Then Trellin is currently afraid of this creature for until the end of his turn. What would Trellin like to do?
Do I get an option?
You do.
Oh.
How would you like to deal with your fear?
I'm trying to see if there's an advantage of some kind, but there's no real. No, it's not really. So advantage on saving throws against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. So pretty useless.
So as a frightened, you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while you can see the source of your fear. You cannot willingly move closer to the source of your fear. You can choose to attack it if you wish to.
Can I go around a corner or something?
You can run around the corner.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. So, running around the corner, you end the fear by going around the corner. You also, as you move away from it, you do trigger its attack of opportunity by leaving its threatened space. As it swings.
It was like 40 foot.
No, you were in the same area as Dimitri.
Okay.
We've gone down the side that Callum had cleared.
Alright.
But considering it, well, technically you can roll lower. You got a armor class of 12 trying to hit you, so you have no problems running away from it. Having the cloak of displacement and the flaming blade gives you multiple opportunities, and now Dimitri does not get the advantage that you were providing him previously.
Awesome.
Which now brings us to Dimitri's go, facing this red wraith on his own.
Yep.
How does Dimitri do it?
Just as a heads up, I'll be switching to the longbow of venom rather than running up to it with my sword.
That is fair.
Dimitri will be flashing a very bright diamond in the eyes of this red wraith.
Yep.
You turn it back to where it belongs.
Okay, so you pull out the diamond and make a flashlight.
Yep.
Okay, so looking down the corridor, you see the entire corridor explode in light. So bright that it's like looking at the sun.
Terrific. Can that block my vision of this terrifying creature?
Well, you can't see this terrifying creature because there's this bright light that's making you blind in that direction.
But if I can't see it, then would I still be?
That does unstop the fear at the end of your thing.
Oh, great.
But you're still paralyzed because it's not the fear that's got you paralyzed. Paralyzing terror is a paralyzation effect. But you're just sort of sitting there going, staring at the light, unable to close your eyes as this light of brighter than the sun is going right into the back of your head.
Look into the light.
Okay, so Dimitri, what do you do once you've flashed your light?
Is there anything left of the wraith?
When the light dims, you see the wraith is gone. Most ethereal creatures can't stand that sort of intense brightness, especially from the realm of shadow.
So I would say, reluctantly, I'll congratulate Dimitri.
You also see that down the passageway, the other side of the wide staring Goliath, the portal there seems to have also been shut down by the same light blast.
Oh.
Which means no shadows.
Are there
Terrific. Thank you.
other exits from this room and on the other side?
There are. Now that you've shown the light down here, you can see two stairwells heading down from the main passageway that weren't visible while the portals were running.
So they're all done? All the portals are closed?
Both portals are currently closed. As you poke your head around, seeing the Goliath still standing there, you get 2 more saving throws.
15.
Still just... Dimitri's going to take a moment to have a closer look at the circle that was there, to confirm that it's not going to actually reactivate, and then go back to look at the other circle, make sure it's not reactivating, and on the way he can tap on Belgath and say, "Are you ready?"
Yes. What?
He's having trouble seeing as his eyes keep seeing this big, bright, flashy thing in front of them. Whatever he looks at seems to blur, but he can see at the sides of it.
Yeah, it's great. Side vision is beautiful, brilliant.
As the
rapidly
pass,
blinking,
it comes back, but it's this big, bright light every time you close your eyes.
So we'll basically effectively then check out the right-hand side circle, and assuming that they're both looking identical and the options are both the same each way,
they are.
They'll say, well, if you two are ready, we can go down the stairs.
Yep, I'll get my bow out, and
we'll go to.
I'm not sure I guess I'm not sure how I would keep my flame tongue alive, but anyway, there might be a trick to it. I don't know.
Potentially, your sword would be more valuable in these tight, narrow passages.
Maybe. All right, I'll do that.
Shall I go down first?
Your sword also automatically gives the shadow creatures disadvantage attacking anyone within your bright light.
Well, I don't know what. So my cloak of displacement and my flame tongue, is that an overlap or
it's an overlap for you?
Triple disadvantage.
It's an overlap for you, but it provides the light provides it for everyone else. Whereas if the light goes out for any reason, you're still protected.
Okay, cool. All right, I'll carry it.
Okay. So
It's may well be one of the longest passages. So trying to worry about shooting your bow when you can run distance and back again.
Yeah, that's right.
You run up, tag, run back. As long as you've got movement, you can keep doing that.
Well, except for the attack of opportunity. But
That is
anyway.
true.
But, well,
As the rogues have the disengage as a bonus action, which means that they.
That's right.
Okay, so yes, moving down, you see that there are two side passages of this. One of them is putting out a sickly purple light. And the other one doesn't have any light at all. So do you go into the one without light or the one with the sickly purple light?
I've had enough of bright lights.
what sort of distance are we talking about?
So down the stairs, which go down about 5 feet, probably say 10 feet actually. There's another 10 feet of passage before the room comes off to the side. Another 5 feet of passage beyond the side room to another passageway, which the bright light's coming out of.
Hang on. I thought there was a sickly light and no light.
That's what.
And where goes the black light?
So I will show you the map because it doesn't really matter too much at this point as I manipulate things around a little bit so you can see better. Let me see. There we go. So you came up the middle corridor. The portals were at either end. The passageways going down at either side appeared when you defeated the portals. And you've got a room at the top with no light coming out of it and a sickly light at the next one.
Oh, okay, so, and when you say at the top, you're not talking about the one that's at the beyond the T-junction, which you probably could assume you see, so. Well, we can look in the first passage, the first room first, because hey, we're not going to walk past something and...
You're coming down here, the sickly purple. So you look in the first one? So you got nothing coming behind you?
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay, so looking in the first one, you see what appears to be a flesh golem standing there.
Oh, terrific.
A flesh golem?
A flesh golem. And behind the flesh golem you see writing that appears to be a map of the outer planes that Dimitri is able to easily identify.
Is the flesh golem attacking us?
The flesh golem is not moving at this stage.
And otherwise there's no other exits or passages from this room?
There are no other passages from this room, but you do believe that this controls portals, a portal network.
The portals as opposed to the summoning circle we're talking?
Yes, as opposed to the summoning circle, making you think that the light you see to the south is a portal.
Right. Dimitri will wave at the flesh golem. Not say anything yet, just to confirm there's no reaction. So, greetings. I'd be interested to have a look at your map, assuming it's actually a reaction from the wave.
There is no reaction. You think it's probably proximity triggered.
Yeah.
You've got enough arcana to believe so.
Yeah.
It's just it's completely unresponsive to what you're doing.
How big was this room?
This room is 15 feet by 15 feet.
Guys, I really want to charge the flesh golem.
Well, yeah, okay. I was about to say Dimitri will now give you some ideas on what flesh golem, what's effective and less effective. But he's used to people charging him before he provides the advice.
Would our Goliath like to charge?
I mean, I'll ask, can I charge the flesh golem?
Well, someone's actually asking Dimitri. Dimitri must
Oh.
feel privileged.
Oh, I thought you were waiting for direction. Okay. Dimitri certainly, expecting of that.
I'm waiting for someone to just go, yes.
Does Dimitri have knowledge on what hurts or doesn't hurt flesh golems?
Currently just looking up at the moment.
It'd be magic weapons, wouldn't it?
I think flesh golems are effective, but they're not actually particularly powerful or not powerful, but as a player I'm thinking that, I can't remember for certain, particularly in 15.
Okay, so I'll have to look up the other ones to see where they are, because they're not in this book. Golem Guardians, 262. I believe Golem was a protected word. Okay, so what you do know of Flesh Guardians are that they do have immunities to lightning, poison, and non-magical weapons. You cannot charm, fatigue, frighten, paralyze, petrify, or poison them.
So do you have a magic sword?
And they are afraid of fire.
What was that, correct?
If they take fire damage, you can cause them to fall under fear.
Yeah. And yeah, okay. So I don't think Dimitri's ever seen Talon using electricity or poison.
Well, I can use fire.
No. I think more the idea of thinking that there's no reason from what Dimitri knows of the weapons that the party uses that they're going to be slowed down by anything like any immunities. So he'll suggest that, well, unfortunately I suspect that he's likely to be guarding and not be conducive to study of this portal map with the outer planes behind it. So unfortunately I fear it must be eliminated.
And you believe you cannot change its form either, so any transformation effects will not work on it.
Yeah. Which is the answer he gives to the "can I charge it?"
Which is a yes. How far is it away from me?
Okay, so it would be at least 15 feet away from you when you see it for the first time.
Alright.
As it's a medium-sized creature, it's not that hard for you to move up to it and hit it.
I run up to it, hit it.
Okay. So you rush up. Give me a tackle.
Just normal attack roll? 15?
15 is a hit. How much damage do you do?
Well, I believe I heard its resistance against non-magical attacks, so I'll do not as much as I hoping to do. Oh, that's another 7s. 14, 20, gosh, where's my sword? There it is. 24. So
for a sword to be magical, you can even just give off a glow. as a magical effect, as a common magical item.
Prestidigitation.
Not a spell cast on it, but if it was a common magical item, it still overcomes the damage reduction on the enemy magic. So you can have lots of magical weapons that give you no bonus in combat.
Well, unfortunately, this is just a longsword.
The assumption is that this
That's
effect
okay.
level is
That's
most likely
okay.
magical. We'll figure out any other
It's a
stuff.
magical longsword.
Woohoo!
So you do 24 points of damage on your first strike. I believe you have 2 attacks.
I do. That's a 13.
It's a 13 that still hits.
Oh, terrific.
Be hard pressed to see you actually miss this combat.
I just had my D8. Where's it gone? It's something here. I'll find it. I'll just re-roll one. D8s. 6, 10, 14.
14, okay. So 38 damage so far. And now everyone gets to roll initiative. Because you rushed in
Martin,
first. Yep.
It was recognition of how long it's been since someone actually swung at Dimitri. I forgot to use my shield spell, which would have blocked the attack.
That is funny.
25.
16 for initiative.
21.
So 25 for Trellin, 21 for Valgarth, and how much for Dimitri?
16.
16. And I rolled a natural 20 for the Flesh Guardian. The Flesh Guardian goes first and does a multi-attack on the Goliath. So, first one hits an armor class 10. No.
Miss.
Second one on the Goliath hits an armor class 15.
No.
But it tried.
It made an attempt, and I'm happy for it.
And that brings us to Trellin's turn. He is up next with his 25.
I think I'll just sort of whack it two times, and then one unarmed attack.
Yep.
So 15, 14, and 27.
I think they all hit.
Okay, so as you hit it with flame, it cannot take attacks of opportunity against you. It can't use reactions, so you can quite easily step out of its reach.
If it's still standing after the damage.
Will most likely still be standing. So, and can you give me the damage for all
Okay.
those attacks?
I'll let Belgath wear it.
That's what a tank's for.
That's what I'm here for.
What's it, 20 damage
20 damage.
and 26 damage. And what was the 2d4 plus 5? Sorry, I didn't have my d4s out.
It's not very often you get to use them.
So that's 10 damage.
10 damage.
56 total.
Oh, okay, I'm glad you're adding it up.
So Trellin manages to take out the flesh golem with his flaming blade and then an uppercut. It had 93 hit points and he took it to 94.
Oh, terrific. I didn't even get to hit it again.
Sorry.
Hey, you did the initial bit that made it possible for him to take it down. Well, for a team effort, he didn't even have to move away as the flesh golem.
This
collapsed.
doesn't make the Goliath feel any better.
And assuming nothing else occurs immediately, Dimitri will step into the room to have a look at this map of the portals and the planes.
Yep. So, give me an Arcana check as you start looking at it.
21.
What do you want? You think it might take you a while to figure out how this works? There's a lot of complexity in it. And I was thinking that considering it's now after 10, close to 10:30, this might be a good place for us to finish up for the night.
Okay.
And we can pick up next session from Dimitri's being bamboozled by the puzzle of the planes.
Not bamboozled.
And then we can wait and see if another party member or 3 turn up.
We may actually have 3 more next week.
We can wait to see if my hack turns up.
That too. Okay, so thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
Hopefully you guys had a good night, and I will see you at the next game.
No worries. I'm getting slightly better every time.
You are.
At joining the game.
Thank you for having me. I didn't understand what was going on lore-wise. I was just going nodding my head, but once it got to combat, I'm like, this I can understand.
And yeah, well, thank you very much. I will go next week or the week after.
Okay. So thank you for joining.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later. I'll go to
See ya. Thank you.
Good night.